Anchor FM. Thanks, Anchor, for allowing us to post this great content. I know you are just living it up out there, but you're taking the time out to listen to the Triplefour podcast, and it's all thanks to Anchor FM.
Triplefour.
Let's talk about it. Okay, Triplefour podcast.
Yeah, you said this dude makes a meatwad fucking thing for no reason, and then he says Jim Norris.
Bob Dylan I find personally obnoxious, but the Beatles destroyed culture.
Oh my god.
I got Elon Musk to smoke weed in my Tesla the other day. That's not even a big fucking deal.
Things are crazy right now. You don't know shit, do you? We really didn't.
You know, you can't always get what you want, but you'll find sometimes that if you try,
You just might get it.
Oh, you get it!
Welcome to the Triplefour podcast, episode 34.
I think it's going to be a good one.
The goal of today's episode, a good episode.
Defend from... You remember last week when Tom Waits showed up and ate our grapes?
How could I forget?
Then he died.
Well, that's what he wants you to believe, but I think that the goal for this week is to defend our grapes.
I mean, I saw him slumped in the yard, but okay.
I've been reading a novel called Grape Defense, and I'm hoping that some of the things in there will come in handy.
Is that like?
Yes, okay. Yeah.
Is that similar to Tower Defense?
No, it's a lot more like Grapes of Wrath
Huh.
Meets Tower Defense?
meets Tower Defense. Bloons Tower Defense 4 meets Grapes of
Yes,
Wrath.
yes. We all know that game well.
We know that one. So I wanted to start today's cast by talking about a little incident that went down last night in my life. I was leaving work. It was a long night, long shift. Awful. Hated it. Bussing tables. Not my primary job. Doing it to fill in, to help. It's the worst. So I was in a good mood when I was leaving work.
I can hear it.
And so our parking garage has one central ramp that goes up 4 levels, and you can turn around the corner, and there's another 2 levels of parking.
I've been there.
Yeah, it's very similar to the parking garage at the other similar gaming establishment that you are employed by.
Not employed by them.
That's true.
We're independent.
I am employed by the actual gaming facility. So I was leaving work, and I was headed down the long ramp to the bottom. And you know, this is not uncommon that people are driving really slowly. This is 10:30 p.m. on a Sunday night.
Yeah, we talked about this too, about the being very careful in parking garages. I know you said when you're walking, but I too, when I'm driving, I'm very cautious because I know that there is a large margin for error.
Right. Well,
in that space.
So driving and walking around in like the parking area, but this being the ramp downwards. Now I kind of see the ramp as like a road, merging, so don't fucking
Yeet.
go 5 miles. Well, don't yeet, but also don't go 5 miles an hour. Like you can drive.
Don't yeet, but don't be skeet.
Yeah. There's somebody driving really slowly, and look, it's a casino. There's old people. There's drunk people.
Yep.
There's
Mostly
people.
old.
Mostly old, sometimes both.
Yeah.
Also, there are people who just generally don't give a shit, and they'll just do whatever because they don't have any acknowledgement of the people around them or their thoughts or feelings.
Yeah, absolutely.
So somebody going really slowly at the bottom of this ramp. There was a car behind this one. So car number 1, car number 2, and I'm pulling up to be like immediately behind these 2 cars, and the first one has just stopped in a 1-lane exit out of this parking garage, and car number 2 managed to stop in place. They are off the ramp essentially at this point, but I'm at the very crest at the bottom, and now this is a parking garage that has been resealed as of last year because there was all that flooding.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's been like upgraded and there's fresh paint. And when I'm driving in and I'm coming up the ramp and I'm turning right, I hear a loud screech because it's so slick.
Yeah.
So I get to the bottom and there's a car stopped in a 1-lane road at the bottom of a hill. And so I tried to hit the brakes and my tires couldn't stop. So I slid right into this car. Into car number 2, the back of them. In my head, I was just thinking, well, here we go. And then a car was behind me, did the same thing, tried to stop and slid directly in the back of me.
Perfect.
So 4-car issue. And at this point, I'm like, fuck, I am trying to go home. So everybody starts kind of pulling forward. Again, it's still kind of a 1-lane road. And like the way that the exit of this parking garage works is at the bottom of the ramp, there's like an underpass that then comes up and rejoins the main road.
Yeah,
I know. It's a really weird connector.
Yeah, so that's where we were. We were like in the underpass section, and
in a land down under.
Yeah, and we're kind of turning onto like what is kind of a shoulder. It's still like there's enough room for whatever.
Yeah,
and the first car, the one that was going really slow that caused this, took off. And so then I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, so that's the person you have to blame.
It's their fault.
Yeah, it's their
100% their fault. And then I got out and I went over, like, the guy behind me was another employee. I talked to him first, like, you okay? And he's like, yeah. And then I walked over to the other person who was a guest, and this is the person I'm dreading because I hit them. And I'm walking over, I'm like, you guys okay? And they were just like, yep. Very, very mysterious. And I'm like, okay. And I kind of backed off. And I'm trying to call, like, my dad at this point and just, like, trying to tell him what went down just so somebody else is aware of the situation. And then I talked to the other guy for another moment. I was like, yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. I tried to stop. They were in the middle of the road, and I slid right into this. I just slid, and he's like, yeah, I did the same thing to you.
Were there weather conditions, or was it just...
It's virtually indoors.
Okay.
Because it's still a parking garage. Yeah. But like I said,
I sound like your insurance agent.
No, the pavement of the ramp is so slick because it's like sealed to be waterproof. Essentially.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. And so then I finally went back to the person in the car in front of me, and they're like, "Yeah, we've just called the cops, and they'll be here soon." And
also, I have a gun.
And I didn't know what to make of that at that point. And I was just kind of like, yeah, so, I mean, that person in front of you stopped, and I tried to brake, and they were like, yeah, I know. And so they acknowledged it was the person in front of them. Yeah. It was their fault.
Or at least, like, act a little bit like it, you know?
Yeah, they were very weird. They were very sketchy, shady people. I mean, they're casino people.
This is going to look very badly on the report.
Yeah.
For you.
And so...
You monster.
I was saying, though, in the context of the situation, like, you have to, you know, and I'm pretty sure their attention and their emotion was sparred on, or was basically put onto the person in front of them. But the fact that they kind of almost took it out on you in a sense, because it's like when you come, it's like, oh, it's the guy that hit me. Yeah. You know, so it's like I don't know, I kind of didn't like that. I don't like that because people like usually direct their attention to the people that aren't the reason.
Well, the whole like accident environment is so uncomfortable because nobody wants to like admit anything or say anything, and like I don't really know how to act.
No one wants to incriminate.
Yeah. And also, I'm thinking in my head, it should be completely obvious to all three of us that this is none of our fault. Yeah, it's their fucking fault.
Where did he fucking go?
Yeah,
that fucking guy.
Yeah, seriously. Well, like that is virtually a hit and run, you know, like because they caused a 3-car pileup and then left. Yeah. And like they're on camera. It's a parking garage. And so anyway, the cops show up, and the guy was just so relaxed. You know,
what's going on?
So what happened? Okay, took all of our IDs and looked us up. Okay, so our IDs and insurance looked us up.
Killer.
All right, so it's private property, so I can't really do anything. Here's a number. This with the accident report. All right, you guys good?
Later.
And we pretty much just all exchanged our insurance information, and it comes down to we live in a society.
There we go.
Because
there it is.
There we go.
The idea that like if you hit a car,
yeah,
it is always your fault. Like that is the assumption.
Regardless of the scenario.
Especially if you hit him from the back too.
Yeah,
especially.
Remove all nuance. We're not smart enough to understand that there's way more context to be acknowledged in any accident. Because clearly, especially in this case, because theoretically, if that first car didn't even touch the second one, scot-free, I guess. Like, I don't think so. I don't personally think so, but I feel like in court, there could be an argument made that they have that.
There's a lot that comes down to this. So this is what my whole thing with the age. I think I've told the story on the podcast before of the time that we were on our way to that. We were on our way to see the Black Dahlia murder, and I got in a fucking car accident.
Yeah, you told us, story.
So in that incident, the next day, I was on the phone with my insurance agent, and one of the questions that she asked me was it one or two impacts? Because there were 3 cars involved. She asked, did you hit the car and then the next car hit you? Or was it one impact? Like they rammed you, whatever. Yeah. And, you know, in the heat of the moment, you're not thinking about that stuff.
Yeah.
You just got in a fucking car accident. You're just like, I'm shaky after every, like, no matter how minor it is, always throws you into, gets you a little jittery. But so I didn't know. I honestly did not know if it was 1 or 2 impacts. And I told her that. I said, I essentially told her, I think it was 1. I don't know. Yeah. It's, in that moment, I could not tell you. I think it was 1. They did not push me into the other car. And at the very end of the call, the last fucking thing she says before she hangs up the phone on me, she goes, okay, well, let me know if you have a change of heart.
Fuck you.
And I was like, you're my insurance agent. What do you mean?
You're supposed to look out for me.
It was like a kick in the ball.
I have the same kind of experience because, like, I know that I hit the car 2, and that car 4 hit me in the back. The person in car 2 told the cops, and I don't honestly remember if this happened, but she told the cops, like, yeah, that fourth car hit him and sent him back, hit me again. So, like, a 2 impact situation. I wasn't paying attention. I just saw the whole thing play out in my head. Yeah. I wasn't scared because we were going so slowly, but, like, I was just thinking, like, here we go.
That is weird that in the moment when you're in a car accident, it is, like, slow motion, but you don't remember any of the important details.
Yeah, you're just like, it's happening.
I guess this is... I live here.
And so, here's what's crazy. My car made it out pretty decent.
Yeah, I saw it today. Well, I didn't see the front of it. I saw the guy at the store checking out the front.
Nothing on the front.
I did see your bumper.
Yeah, the bumper or
your tailgate was a little...
And it had been hit before, so it wasn't pristine or anything. And also, my truck is not a fucking showroom car. Yeah. It's like the paint is peeling. There's scratches. There's fucking scars everywhere.
What year is it?
Yeah. 99.
Was it 1 or 2 impact? Is it 99?
Yeah.
Damn.
My car pretty much unscathed. I have nothing to claim. I don't really care. Like, I can still open the tailgate of my truck, so it's functioning.
You're good.
Now, coincidentally, I had to have my blinkers looked at because they were failing, and also my right headlight was out.
Really, that works out in your favor.
Well, I'm not making a claim, so I'm not an asshole.
Well, it's on. This is going to be on
the record.
Internet.
Yeah, so this is going to be taken in.
Every single police officer in the greater St. Louis area listens to this podcast.
Yeah,
please.
And your insurance agent.
Yeah, and
specifically.
So the car in front of me wasn't so bad either. their car was also not in the
Where
great
were you
shape.
in the lineup? You were the
I was
the third.
I was the third. Sorry, that's what I meant. The second car, the one that I hit.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, so since I drive a Dodge, there's like that cross in the front of the grill.
Able to dodge it.
So yeah, there's like that cross in the grill, and you could tell that it was just the center of that cross had like kind of made like this indentation in their trunk.
Dink.
It wasn't that bad. So like honestly, they should have the same attitude as me, but as we know, everybody's a piece of shit, and so I have a feeling like they're gonna be like, yeah, I need a whole new fucking car because
for the record,
yeah,
everyone's
everyone's a piece of shit. I felt really bad for the guy behind me because he was driving a really small car, like some Honda from like the late 90s or something. And like I have a truck, so the bed accordioned his hood.
Ooh.
Like, yeah, it was drivable. He drove away.
Breathe.
He drove away,
dude.
but my truck fucked his hood up. And it's like,
that's not your fucking fault.
It's not my fault. It's that first car's fault. And yet, I'm not gonna like. That guy has to pay for that himself.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, it's like the police aren't involved. Like, I think we could get justice for this if we pulled the camera footage,
get the license plate,
and got the license plate. But the police aren't going to investigate because it's private property.
But what the fuck does that mean?
I don't fucking know. Because okay, so they have jurisdiction on highways and public roads.
Yeah, but because it's a casino,
parking lots in general, they don't apparently do anything for you.
That's what like.
It's, I guess, like a civil case or
some shit. So what if a mugging happens?
You know what
property.
Percentage of accidents happen in parking lots?
Another thing he said was, unless somebody's like drinking or something, we don't really.
How do you not know?
I know,
the first guy
and that's another
drinking?
thing. That's also very possible, right? Because like, why are you driving 2 miles an hour and then stopping in the middle of the road
for no reason?
Yeah,
at a casino, leaving a casino.
Yeah.
And also, I'm thinking like
everybody's
like, fund cops, make sure cops have everything. I'm like, there's work. There's work to be done here. You can do it. I don't know.
Where's the funding, Tom?
Yeah, Jesus.
Whatever.
I don't give a shit.
Fuck.
But yeah, so then I was like, this is a bummer. So I woke up.
This is.
We live in a society.
I don't. Yeah, no, we don't do get the political here, but.
Well,
I will say that of the maybe 3 times in my entire life that I actually needed a police officer, it's a fucking joke.
It's private property.
Yeah, it's a fucking bit every time.
So I was gonna do
useless.
Well, the officer gave me the report number, and it was on the back of his business card, so I guess I could always theoretically call him if I really wanted to. Like, okay, if this person makes a fucking claim on their car and I have to like pay for some shit on their car, I'm gonna call the police officer and say, hey, there's more to this. There's more context to this shit. And this is a casino. They have security.
To say, hey,
functionality.
Well, did he only pay attention to the second car? Did he talk to you and the guy behind you?
Yeah, he talked to all of us.
Okay.
I mean, he didn't really explain any of this shit, like the whole like liability thing.
What I'm saying is just like the fact that like the second car was talking probably a lot more about like, yeah, the guy behind me hit me, and just like a suspicious attitude of like trying to get something more out of it, because it's just kind of how it is. Because they hit you and then they have like a newer car. It sounds like. I'm not sure what that car was.
It was they were a shady looking folks. Okay. I mean, they looked like they, like would take this
folks
opportunity.
Is not the word that I thought that you were gonna.
What do you think? Shady fuckers.
Fucks.
Yeah, there's some shady folks
over there.
If you're leaving the casino on Sunday night at 10:30 and you're not an employee,
so like, how good of a look did you get? Do you think there were drugs involved?
What, with the first car?
Just liquor.
The first car,
if any, substance abuse issues for the other.
I didn't say anything
vehicle
about that.
Operators.
The guy behind me was also a fucking server leaving work, so he would look. I mean, we were like the same, cut from the same cloth. So yeah, also he's the most fucked in this whole situation.
Are you a cop? You have to tell me if you're a cop.
No. But the people in front of me, you don't go to the casino if you've got like money to blow on nice cars. I don't know. Like, it was just the way they, like, their vibe.
The demographic
was just, it's just
odd.
like, I'm not super hopeful about the situation. Hopefully they're not assholes and they don't fucking care about this dent. But yeah, so I called the insurance agent this morning.
What kind of car was it? The one in front of you?
Fucking regular white compact car.
Whoa.
I don't know.
It's like a Toyota.
I have their insurance information. It says the name of the car on it, but I don't. So I could look it up if I wanted. But
I can look this up.
Don't.
So I called the insurance agent this morning, and it's funny because if you're an insurance agent secretary and you take down notes about this kind of stuff, you'd imagine they've heard everything, right?
Yeah, I would say.
I called her and I was like, yeah, so I was in a fender bender last night. Just thought I'd, get in touch with you, let you know what happens. I have the insurance of the other people, their names and everything. So if it comes down to them making a claim, calling you or something, I just wanted to be the first to talk to you.
Yeah.
And she goes, okay. Was it your fault? And that was the opener. And I was like, I would argue no. And she just laughed so hard, like, just having a good old time.
Insurance agents are almost as bad as the police. Like they try to trick you.
I was like, well, like, is it your fault? Like, who's gonna fucking say yeah?
Yeah, it was me.
I fucked up this guy.
I went 45.
That's why I called you,
dude. I fucking blew that dude. Like,
yeah. Anyway,
that dude's trunk.
You blew that dude.
Gone.
Comment. I blew that dude in the comment section on YouTube. So, yeah, I was like, I would argue no, and then I described the situation, and the whole time I'm talking. Yeah, so there was a car that stopped, and then I hit this car. A car behind me hit me, and then I hit whatever. And this whole time she's like, "Oh man."
The hell?
She's laughing too.
No.
She's laughing, and like, and she goes, "About what time was this?" It was about 10:30 at night last night, and she goes, "Oh no,
oh no,
oh no!" And she's like, "Where was it?" Yeah, it was at the casino. I actually worked there. And she goes, "Oh no!" The whole time,
David
she's
Lynch
laughing. She's cracking up because it's the most unfortunate fucking thing. And I'm just thinking, like, you're an insurance agent secretary. How I feel like you get calls every day that are like, "Yeah, my fucking car flew off a mountain and landed on somebody, so I don't know, maybe they'll call you." Like, crazy shit. But no, she was just laughing. She thought it was so funny how tragic it was.
I'm having a great time.
Yeah,
by the
and
way.
I love this.
But yeah, basically she's just like, "Yeah, well, we'll just sit tight with this, and if they try to make a claim against you, we'll make a claim against them." And I was like, "Oh, no. Look, I don't really need to.
I don't need beef.
I don't need beef, dude. I don't care. My car is fine." And that just sounded so ominous. Like, yeah, well, if they say something,
Dude, that's what I'm
we'll
saying.
attack her.
Everything they fucking say it's ominous. Like,
yeah.
When she said to me, "Well, let me know if you have a change of heart."
Does that mean, like,
What the
let me know if you're ready to, like, lie to fuck with this person, or
I think it meant she
I know
didn't.
you're lying.
I think she meant she didn't believe what I was saying, and I'm just sitting there. You're my fucking insurance agent.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be on my side.
I guess realistically, they just want you to be in accidents, theoretically,
Well, it
because
makes
that's
them
how
money.
they make money.
Yeah, it's a premium.
Also,
Insurance isn't real.
insurance is so fucked. Look, also, I'm under 25, and my insurance will cost more now, even though a fucking divine accident occurred to me last night that I had no control over. Seriously, like, and now I'm going to have to pay more money because I'm under 25, so therefore I'm a fucking idiot who can't drive a fucking car.
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, so we live in a society, and I'm thinking maybe about being a joker sometime soon.
Jonker?
Junker.
Thinking about becoming a junker. So anyway.
Josh, you ever die in a car accident?
I've died on the podcast.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That did happen.
Yeah, fuck you guys. You guys didn't show up to my funeral.
Yeah, we did. I said at the beginning of the episode. I said, just got back from Josh's funeral.
Dan was listening to Morrissey.
Oh, yeah. Well, never mind.
You were dead. You wouldn't know.
Yeah, I was resurrected, so I would know.
Not at the funeral.
Yeah, the funeral, no, but someone could tell me after.
Well, it wasn't pretty.
Look, I know. Some dude puked.
I think, is it time for films?
Yes. Scarch, roll the time for films theme.
Parasite, Midsommar, Jean-Luc Godard, Robert Eggers sucks. This is the time for films theme song. It's over.
Woo, that was a hit. I liked that.
Is that Talking Heads?
Love that, Scarch.
I fucking love that. Scarch whipped that out for us earlier.
Buddy.
He did like a Reggie Watts live in the studio.
I saw him. He went ape shit in there.
Yeah.
He was tossing sticks around like it was nobody's business.
Yeah. And it really distracted from his facial deformities.
Yeah.
So what kind of films we talking? Nick, why don't you go first?
Well, I watched a couple this past week. The one I will keep very brief is Near Dark, which is
Catherine Bigelow movie with the
some
vampires.
Some people revere as the best vampire movie.
Josh has many
It's
thoughts.
gonna be a hard disagree. I did not like it. I was not really a big fan. I love Bill Paxton, and I thought Bill Paxton's character was great, but it's funny because I watched it because I saw somebody post an image from the movie, one of my friends, saying that it was the best vampire movie of all time. I didn't even think about the Bela Lugosi thing.
Josh has a very
Anyway,
have you seen?
Yeah, I was. I thought the story was fucking dumb.
I remember liking it.
I liked the one thing that I did like about it, besides Bill Paxton, who I like in every movie, is the sunlight. Well, I mean, it's called Near Dark, but the sunlight being like the main driving force of for the vampires. Like they're just always trying to escape the sunlight, and that also being Anyway, Near Dark, whatever. More like
to the exit of the theater because that's where I'm gonna be.
Got him. We've never talked about this movie on the podcast.
Dracula.
Uh-oh.
Midsommar. We're back again. Once again.
I've never heard of that.
I watched the director's cut. Ari is a god. Okay.
He's made 2 movies.
Yeah, a god.
2.5. We call it short.
No, it was dope. I highly recommend the director's cut. If you haven't seen it, it definitely added a lot to it helped the storytelling a lot, because I remember seeing the theatrical in the theater with like a bunch of people, and when we left the theater, none of us knew what the fuck we watched. I think it's a little more of a head trip than the director's cut. Watch it.
He cut it.
Yeah, himself.
He cut
it's
it
like
up.
3 hours, though,
Boiled
isn't
it,
it?
but
like
it's
there's
close.
Like an extra 30
yeah, it's
or
close
40
to 3
minutes.
Yeah, it's close to 3 hours, which is a commitment.
lot.
But like I said, a god.
I will say though, when we revisited Midsommar a while ago, it felt like a breeze. Like it felt so quick.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure in comparison to because the theatrical cut is a little over 2 hours, isn't it?
it's like 2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so
That's what I'm saying. It was
in reality,
it felt really quick.
Not that much more footage. if you think
2.5
about it.
hours is a big film.
Yeah, it is. But I'm saying for the director's cut, which is just under 3,
Yeah.
that's not that much more footage.
Where was the extra stuff? Like in timeline wise.
It's gotta be more sex scene.
It's all sex. It's literally
Really?
all. Yeah,
20 more minutes
it's
of
all
sex, huh?
fucking.
20 minutes more pounding.
It's all fucking.
You know,
and then, it's all fucking, and then that guy catches on fire, and that's the movie.
I thought when you said that, when you're like, it's all sex scenes. For some reason, I thought at the beginning of the movie, like I was like, wait, like Danny and her boyfriend like fuck for a while at the beginning, like that would be weird. But no, then I remember, oh, there's a lot of sex at the end of the movie.
There's a little extra. I wouldn't say exposition. It's not that early on. It's mostly later in the movie, like halfway mark and after. Okay, so you know the couple from London that meets them at the festival.
More of them.
Little more explanation behind what happened to them and that dynamic.
I would say the only one.
It's hard. I'd almost have to watch the theatrical again to make the comparison. I just felt that the director's cut was a little more coherent, because I remember watching when, maybe it's because it's the second time I watched it and I kind of knew what to expect, but the first time I watched that movie, it did feel like
I don't really.
What is this? What is going on?
Well, I feel like it's a mystery. I mean, it's a mysterious
there's
movie.
definitely some mystery.
I never felt like there was anything, and I was like, what was going on there? Like, I mean, it's like anything that you don't know what it is, you can just be explained by these weird ritual shit. Whatever.
Yeah.
Weird.
I think that if I had to put my finger on it, the director's cut, there's a lot more nuance in the little stuff. That's why it is hard to make that distinction of how is it different from the theatrical cut. There's little like
longer edits and shit.
Longer edits, and the girl that what's her name, the redhead that keeps staring at the boyfriend,
Laura Dern.
Dorcas.
There's extra shots of that and her throwing hints and stuff like that. Little stuff. It's a lot of little stuff. But also, I think there was an additional argument between Danny and the boyfriend, which...
See, I think
he was an extra piece, because he was a piece of shit in the theatrical, but in the director's cut, he is a fucking monster, and it makes the end of the movie so much better.
See, I feel like if you were going to add stuff to it, I would rather see things that happen before they go to Sweden. I think that's where it needed more stuff.
I don't know about that.
I don't think I felt like there was a lot.
I would have preferred to see the off-screen kills. They don't show those.
That's not what attracts me to that movie, though, I think. I mean, like, it's not actually...
Well, I know that's what a lot of other people told me that they wanted to see, was the off-screen.
Yeah, well, they're fucking idiots.
Okay, so the only person that actually didn't have a really, like, explanation of who died was the girl from the London couple.
Exactly.
That's the only one I can really think of that's like, they don't have an explanation for it. She just disappeared.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Also, I remember last time we watched it, like, okay, so there's that part where, I think it's when the black guy is killed.
Whoa.
So
Josh, yeah. Well, okay, yeah, that's his name. He remembers because it's his fucking name.
Yeah, of course.
Get out of here.
Everybody named Josh on this podcast just keeps dying.
Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, so when Josh dies...
Because he's looking at the forbidden...
Right, so...
Hey, Josh?
You're
not supposed to do that.
So, yeah, when Josh character is looking at that book, and then he turns around and there's a dude with his dick out...
No, that was my theory, though.
Yeah, what was the deal? Who is that? Whose dick is that?
That's
the question.
Well, not only dick out, but he's wearing the skin of...
He's wearing a skin of somebody.
I think his name
Will
is
Poulter?
Yeah,
Jake.
Will Poulter.
Will Poulter's character. He's wearing his face, like a leather face mask.
Who's the killer? Just somebody?
I think it's the main cult guy. Ingmar, I think was his name.
Ingmar Bergman.
Yeah, it strikes again.
Midsommar.
Damn.
I think.
With Will Poulter's face and dick on him? Or was it his
I don't know about
dick?
I'm pretty sure it was his dick.
Hashtag whose dick was it?
Hashtag real. If you're really real and you listen to this podcast, you'll comment in the...
No, if you're really real, you'll go on Twitter, you tweet at Ari Aster, hashtag whose dick was it?
Yeah. Directly. DM him maybe.
No context, just that hashtag. Whose dick was it?
Ari Aster?
Make another movie.
Whose dick was it?
Actually, whose dick was it? You know what was a good vampire movie? Vampires, John Carpenter.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Anyway.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. You got, well, obviously, I know you've seen it. Josh, you ever seen it?
No.
It's a classic, but I'm
fucking amazing
honestly,
movie.
Like, I can't believe that I haven't seen it up to this point.
Yeah.
Is it...
Fucking vintage Jack Nicholson. He's real. How old was he in that?
Scarch. We'll look it up.
So you got Jack Nicholson as the main character. You got Danny DeVito.
Like, who directed it?
Milos Forman.
Okay.
Christopher Lloyd.
Oh, wow, so that's a pretty good cast.
Danny DeVito, Brad Dourif.
Shout out debut for Bobby Bibbit. Whatever the fuck his
Bobby Bibbit.
Bobby Bibbit is the character in the
Bobby
movie,
Bibbit.
but they said that in the closing credits it says and introducing whatever the actor's name is that plays Bobby Bibbit.
Oh, I think that's Brad Dourif.
Okay.
He's like the young guy.
Yeah, with the stutter.
Yeah, that's Brad Dourif. It's the guy who plays Chucky.
Oh.
And also Wormtongue in
the voice of Chucky?
Yeah, and he plays Charles Lee Ray in the opening of the first movie when he is still a person.
He plays the doll.
Yeah, he plays both. He is the voice of the doll, and he plays the guy who becomes the doll. Nicholson would have been third. I'm trying to do math. He was born in 1937. The movie came out in 75.
Jack Nicholson was born in 1937?
Yeah, he's 82 now.
Jesus Christ.
Still has front row seats to the Laker games.
Yeah, it's really good. It's got a lot of bad math.
Yeah, he would have been 37.
A lot of bad math in it.
He would have been 37.
37. Okay,
a lot of bad math.
That sounds right. Based on his appearance in the film, he is slightly balding.
Incredible movie.
It's really fucking good.
All the performances and like I think I wrote this on Letterboxd when I watched it, but it's like a perfect new Hollywood movie because it's about people who are like outsiders and weirdos.
It's
and
a
freaks.
big, bold statement
of
in regard to not only
it's the counterculture,
mental health, misfits and outsiders, and all of. It's about society.
And
authority, too, is a big one. Yeah.
And I don't know if this is a spoiler, but the part where they go fishing is so fucking good. The part where they all go fishing.
I had a big old grin on my face during that whole...
and it's also new Hollywood because it's a very unhappy ending.
Oh, like dude. I won't. Yeah, obviously I'm not gonna say it, but
but it's a fucking
that one hit me, dude. That's why I messaged you that night when I was watching it. I messaged you and I asked, "Are you still up?" Because the scene, there were 6 fucking minutes left of screen time in the movie.
Yeah.
Not even in the like on the what I was streaming it on. It said 6 minutes left. And the part with the big Indian, when he's holding him in the bed after he's been brought back to the room, the fucking internet went out and the server crashed and I couldn't...
My internet went out or yours did?
The server crashed.
Okay.
And in the most moving, like, unsuspected part of the movie, the whole thing crashed and I couldn't get it to come back up. And oh man, I was so angry and I kept trying to do it. I spent $5 to rent it on YouTube just to watch the last 6 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. It's like the fucking...
But that one hit hard. My jaw dropped on that.
Yeah, sorry, nothing I can do at 4 a.m. when I'm asleep and the internet goes out down here.
I know.
Well, I don't know if it was yours. It must have been mine.
I wasn't mad at you.
Yeah.
But I finished it.
Yeah.
I powered... We have the technology.
Yeah.
And I was able to do that. Now, if it was... When did the movie come out?
75.
If it was 1975 and the film had cut off in the theater...
It happens.
Anyway, that concludes film time.
No, I have films.
Shit.
We have times for
Dan does
some
have films. Josh, did you know that Dan has films?
No. Never aware of that.
I did watch Come to Daddy.
I did too.
I didn't give a shit about it.
I found it underwhelming.
It
wasn't a bad movie, but
care.
It was not anywhere near as good as I thought it was going to be.
I revisited Jaws.
Hell yeah.
There certainly were some Jaws. So I've been reading this book called Easy Riders, Raging Bulls, which is all about the development of New Hollywood, and particularly basically Hollywood from 1967 to 1980, and all the like ways that films became more mature, and things like Cuckoo's Nest or The Godfather and Star Wars and American Spielberg, Lucas, Coppola, Scorsese. It's like very like
things that, aside from, you know, early films being solely visually compelling.
Well, so
but later being thematically, like having the story and a statement.
Yeah,
and
but there were films before
I'm sure there
67.
Were, but
the Citizen Kane, for example, is
Yeah.
a movie that would fit in this any other decade. So the key Hollywood history lesson here, the key difference is throughout the early days, the 20s through the 40s and 50s, where Hollywood was, it was called the studio system. So there was basically 5 big studios: MGM, Paramount, 20th Century Fox, and they all had their own like employees. So if you were a Paramount director, you only made movies for Paramount, and if you were a Paramount actor, you only worked for Paramount movies. So Bogart only worked for a certain studio. But yeah, so like there was a studio system. They also owned the theaters and distributed their own movies. So it was like a huge trust issue.
Okay. Yeah.
A huge monopoly. So I think it's either late 40s or 50s, the studio system was finally broken up so that they could not own the means of distribution. That was another thing. Theaters only showed Paramount movies or only showed MGM movies. So they eventually broke that up. I want to say 47. And then also the ratings system was simply, is it approved or not approved to be shown? It wasn't until 67 that they did away with that. And before 67, you could not have sex in films. You could not have real violence. Everything was clutch and fall. So, like, you know, if somebody's shot, they just put their hands on their chest and they fall over like they were shot. So in 67, they had finally grown up to the point where, like, all right, we'll have ratings. And I think it was just G, R, and X at the time. So that's when, and also other influences like European art house films influencing American directors, and film school really becoming a real thing for the first time.
Yeah.
Basically, after 67, in the 70s was when Hollywood came into its own, and it was like American films are an artist's medium, and so Francis Ford Coppola, Scorsese, Lucas, all that stuff. So that's what the book is about, and it's a lot of like little vignette things about like, here's what Scorsese was like in the early 70s. He was super anxious, nerdy dude, and Spielberg was like never did drugs and was like, you know, like all this stuff. So Jaws, there was a chapter about Jaws, and so I rewatched Jaws, and I think from the point where they go out on the boat to kill the shark, every frame is
In a pool.
masterful. In a pool.
In a pool.
Every frame after they go out to go kill the shark is fucking amazing. Like so fucking good. Amazing that they pulled that off. And what I read was they planned for that movie to be shot in like 50 days, and it took 160. Like they
sounds like a
the film that we've made, and like went 10 times over budget. Like the line producer, the guy who was supposed to be like keeping track of the budget, just took the paperwork for the budget and just locked it in a drawer. So like the producers came and were like, everything seems fine. He's like, yeah, it's good. And then like once they finished the movie, he showed up. He's like, oh fuck, you guys owe so much money. And like that's so like it's so cool though. And Spielberg was like freaking out the whole time, like did not want to do the movie. Like so it's like there's a lot of those little like warts and all stories, like these things of like this shit would not have been made if like one little thing went wrong for a lot of those movies.
You guys ever been to Universal Studios?
Nope.
Yeah.
Been on the Jaws ride?
Oh.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
No, it's great.
Um,
It fucking goes, dude. No lie, like.
But so also because of that book, I've been watching a lot of Jack Nicholson films because he is such a central character in a lot of those films and those stories, and specifically because his first like big thing was Easy Rider, and Easy Rider was kind of like not the first new Hollywood film, but the first really successful huge one, and he made a lot of movies that were like that. So I watched one called Carnal Knowledge. Which I really liked. I watched one today called 5 Easy Pieces, which is another classic one. And I also, a few weeks ago, watched one called The Last Detail. And I really like Jack. Like, it
When's
is.
coming back?
Are you okay?
I know, like, you're like having a.
No, I'm fine.
But I really was just thinking, like, man, I fucking love Jack Nicholson. The dude has, like, such a cool energy because he's not, like, sexy. You know, like, he's just, like, this kind of, like, regular-looking guy, but he's so fucking cool, and he's so cynical. Like, he's, like, got this, like, sarcastic wit. Like, he seems like an asshole, but he's cool.
I could see... Yo! Have you ever seen... This is not off-topic, but just kind of random in this sense. There is a skateboarding video, classic video, Globe Opinion. Globe was the shoe company that Rodney Mullen skated for many years ago. There is a clip in there where Rodney Mullen is doing a line on Hollywood Boulevard, and he fucking runs into
I've seen that.
Yeah, he runs into Jack Nicholson, and he does it like he kind of sees him, and then he takes a step back, and the cameraman goes, "Was that fucking Jack Nicholson?"
Yeah, and Rodney's just like,
Jack,
"Oh my god."
Jack just keeps walking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rodney's like, "Oh my god." And he just keeps walking.
Yeah. He's such an American image, like, I think. Like, he's got a very, like, working class kind of dude, but he's also such, like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm, like, a 60s American icon.
He has that attitude.
And I think that's what made him so good in the things that he became known for later, like The Shining, because he is so an American dad. But he has this, like, darkness.
Even anger management with Adam Sandler.
Yeah, well, I think at that point it's like we're playing on the fact that it is Jack Nicholson, and he has that rage in him.
He also played Junker.
Oh,
that's
fuck.
This is true.
Right.
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson, the fucking shit. That's my proposal for the Hall of Fame on this week's episode. And I think we should all do a Jack Nicholson impression and then vote. Josh?
Oh, shit. I'm on the spot. Yeah, I can't. I'm not.
You have to do something.
I vote yes. It sounds like a fucking man that was trying not to.
Was that Junker?
Yes.
Dude, yeah, having a contest right now. You see, the thing about playing the Joker is it's not that serious.
That's a Joker.
Huh. All right. I want to do one from the show.
How was that? Was that all right?
Oh,
better than Josh.
Better than Josh, but Josh did not want to do it.
You know, when I was in The Shining.
Anyway, Jack Nicholson.
Yeah. Anyway, I have the best impression.
Also,
hard agree.
I read on his Wikipedia page today that he endorsed Bernie Sanders for the upcoming election.
Fuck yeah.
And I was like, what? Like, I did not expect
bonus,
that.
Come out of nowhere.
Bonus points.
Yeah.
So. I agree. I say let him in. He's in
All right.
Hall of Fame. Triplefour
Scarch, put up
Podcast Hall of Fame welcomes
You ever dance?
Jack Nicholson.
You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
You gotta say Jack. Jack's back.
Here's Jonathan. That's the line.
This is Jonathan.
This is Jonathan.
This is Jonathan.
Jack's
What
back.
the hell it is?
One more thing for Time for Films. I finished watching the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina season 3 on Netflix.
It's not a film.
It's true. And Time for Films.
Time's up.
And
All right, Time for Films is wrapped. Time for TV.
TV.
Streaming TV.
TV.
I finished watching season 3 of Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Let me tell you, that show is off the fucking rails. It is so insane. Every episode, they just make shit up. It's like completely wild. Like there's like, oh, the demon Azrael is now, he's an issue. We got to take care of. And they're like, okay, I'm gonna time travel. That's a thing I can do now. Like,
Okay.
Like there's no fucking rules. It's one of those shows. It's just like anything, just anything. And like all the characters are like, Lucifer is a guy in the show, but he's only evil sometimes. It's weird.
Okay.
They based a whole bunch of stuff in the first few seasons about how Sabrina's dad was like a famous magician, and then it turns out he wasn't her dad. Satan was her dad the whole time, and it's like,
Oh, how it is.
well, what
has
the
to
hell?
be.
It's a lot of stuff like that. Shit's fucking crazy. And on the same level, my brother has been telling me about how he and his son are watching Yu-Gi-Oh!
Hell
On
yeah.
Netflix. And I was like, dude, fuck yeah. I wanna be
There we go.
Like, because Yu-Gi-Oh! I can get down on. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the same way, where there's no fucking
No
rules.
fuck-
They
no,
make it up.
They just do it.
Not
Every-
so fast, Yugi boy.
And we were talking about like how fucking insane some of the stuff that happens in that show is. Like he was saying, like
Toon World.
There was the Toon World thing.
I'm about to pull on my tune.
That's not, especially if you've played the actual card game. You know that's not how
Does
any
not-
of these
no,
cards work.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Like also,
Work at all.
I love like the idea of like all he has to do is believe in the cards, and then whatever is good for him in that situation, it will happen. Like
Believe in the heart
like
of the
cards that
Have to believe.
the cards that have never existed before suddenly
wind up in
appear
his
in his
deck.
deck. And like it's just like, man, I really need the Dark Magician right now.
Here it is.
What?
I have.
It's the Dark Magician girl. What? That's never been a thing before.
Okay, so in the show, in the lore, which we've established is ridiculous.
Yeah.
There are only 4 blue eyes white dragons
Right.
that exist.
Yeah.
Like cards.
Yeah.
That exist in the whole
Kaiba has all of them.
universe, and Kaiba has fucking all of them. Growing up, I had 4 blue eyes white dragons, and
So
I
you thought you had them at all.
I had it all.
I had
That was
it
all
I
of them.
had it all.
I was living like a king.
All of them
Until
went to Nick.
Yugi activated his trap card.
So you donated them to Goodwill.
I also did. I had
Mokuba.
Toon World, and I had Toon Eyes Blue Dragon, or Toon Eyes White Dragon.
Can we also acknowledge how lazy half of those fucking cards are? Like they made up Blue Eyes White Dragon. Like this is cool, right?
Yeah.
All right, Joey has one. It's called Black Eyes, Red Eyes Black Dragon.
Yeah, that was,
Red
yeah.
Eyes was smoking so much
Fucking Red Eyes
weed.
Black Dragon. And then, yeah, fucking Dark Magician girl.
Fucking smoking weed in my
So what, is
Tesla with Elon Musk the other
Fucking-
day.
I love it, dude.
I
I
love
fucking
you,
love
yeah.
you.
It's a
Yu-Gi-Oh!
good fucking
Go.
show.
There's an episode where like I think it's probably second season when they're in Battle City, and there's a part where like Kaiba is gonna duel this guy, and he said there's like a 2-episode build up to duel this guy, and it's like he's setting up for it's gonna be a full arc. You know, he's gonna be dueling this guy for like 3 episodes, and then it like what happens is it builds up, and then the duel starts, and Kaiba's just like, yeah, Obelisk the Tormentor, and then it just fucking murders the guy like immediately, like 10 minutes. Like, and he says like the guy tries to use like mirror force or something and like throw the attack back. And he's like, no, it doesn't work on Obelisk. Sorry. And then he says the fucking other guys, the rare card hunters or whatever they're called, like they're just dead. They just fall over dead because they played Kaiba in a card game.
Fuck 'em.
It's just the difference between you and me, Kaiba, is I believe in the heart of the cards.
I feel like
Imagine coming home one day and then fucking Pegasus is in the back.
Well, hello.
Yugi boy.
Yugi boy.
And
I got
use that. How you can't use that card in Toon World.
not in Toon World, you can't, you fucking idiot.
You fucking dumbass.
This is a real rule.
fuck you.
One last thing about Yu-Gi-Oh! I think one of the most bold storytelling choices ever made in cinema is to have the main character start out with an impossibly indestructible thing, Exodia, and then 2 episodes in, some bug kid shows up and throws it over the fucking side of a boat. Like, he's like, these are the most fucking powerful cards in the game. Oh, can I see those for a second? Yeah, sure, go ahead. Wow! And he just throws them off the fucking boat. Nuts. Eventually he gets them back, I think, but jeez.
I got something popular here on the Triplefour podcast.
Okay.
But not popular in other aspects of the world. A hot take.
We love them.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Fucking suck.
Mm-hmm.
The TV show.
Yes.
Better than Pokemon.
TV shows or just the franchises?
TV shows.
Absolutely. I
don't know.
Pokemon, I love the Pokemon universe. Yu-Gi-Oh! As a show, way fucking more batshit insane,
my
and that's why it's so
God.
That's
good.
true. Yeah, that is
Like,
true.
say goodbye to Exodia.
Is that David Lynch playing Yu-Gi-Oh?
I bet you David Lynch loves Yu-Gi-Oh!
I'll call him.
Okay. Beep boop beep boop boop
Guys
boop beep
calling him?
boop boop
Okay.
beep 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 beep.
It's taking a while.
Hello.
Hello?
David, it's been a couple episodes. Hey, we just wanted to ask you a question. Do you?
What's the question?
Yes, he
Yes, yeah,
spawns late. You gotta time that.
I'm on a delay.
It's real hard.
No,
to
he says he's on a delay, but he's
Real
done
hard
this
to talk
before.
to
He's
this
done
guy.
this bit. It's hilarious, but David,
Do you remember what he did with the phone that one time where he picked it up
What's
and
the
it's still
question?
Do you
Oh,
love
yeah, no, that was
Yu-Gi-Oh?
weird,
Do you
yeah.
love the TV show Yu-Gi-Oh more than Pokemon, the TV show?
What was the question?
David, we just gave you the question. Okay, David.
Magic the Gathering.
No, David. That's not it. So
I'm at Bob's Big Boy Burger Restaurant in Los Angeles, California.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, loud and clear. David. Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon? What is the better TV show?
Pocket Monsters.
No,
From-
David, that's a Japanese Pokemon. We're not.
From the
No.
island of Japan.
Okay, yeah, it's a part of it, but it's not what we're specifically talking about, David. I know you're at the big boy and you probably are going crazy there. But the question is, Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh, what is the better TV show?
Twin Peaks Season 1.
Okay, well, you know
On
that
Netflix.com.
that's your own show.
Yeah,
You can't say your
I-
own show.
David, we love you, but
Seto Kaiba.
Okay, that's a
Well, we're
character.
getting
We're
closer.
getting there. What show is
And his
he
little
on?
brother, Mokuba. From Pocket Monsters.
Okay, no, that's not the right. No,
fuck.
God, he's stringing another.
Okay, wait. Let me. I got something I can try.
He's got like three.
Detective Pikachu.
Okay,
I
he's
think
got,
I'm
he's got like
starting-
3 venti coffees over there.
I think I'm starting to figure out the way that his mind works a little bit. Okay, let me try something.
He's taking too many espressos.
Digimon.
Digital Monsters.
See, no, he's not. He's too many. He's down too many espressos.
Espressos?
Yes, remember earlier?
yeah,
Yeah.
I've just had an espresso.
See, yeah.
And my mind is fixated on Obelisk the Tormentor.
Well, that's okay. That's a card.
He keeps making references.
There's a card. We're close.
But he
Okay,
won't answer the.
so
From Magic the Gathering.
no, that's no. David, no. David, stop that.
Dungeons and Dragons.
No, David.
Josh, this is useless.
If there's one TV show based on a card game for children that I like,
We lost him.
No, this is who he is. Give him some time. Let it breathe.
Big Bad Beetleborgs.
Okay, I don't even.
Ugh.
Yu-Gi-Oh's better.
He's gone. That's it. But we
I'm
got
still
why?
here.
Fuck. How does he do this?
I'm going to hang up now.
He's going. Did he knock on the table? He just knocked on the table.
I did
Okay.
a click noise with my mouth.
Okay. Yep.
So that's.
I don't.
That was
I
like
don't-
Hereditary.
Bye.
Have you seen Hereditary, David?
Okay, David.
Before you go, what are your thoughts on Midsummer?
I'm at Bob's Big Boy Burger.
David, we already established this. Yes, we know. How many espressos are you down?
I think he hung up.
I cut the line on the phone.
Yeah.
I just couldn't deal with that anymore.
Yeah,
He's like one of
that-
my personal heroes, and he's clearly a fucking idiot. And he won't answer a simple
was-
question.
He really just didn't. He didn't care.
That's fucked up.
It's always something with that guy.
Like, you think the espressos make him faster, but no, they make him slower. It's weird.
He's like Sonic the Hedgehog.
David Lynch's personality is like David Byrne's suit.
Who are your top three Davids?
Aesthetically. Top three Davids?
Yeah.
Shit, dude. Okay, we'll go David Cross, David Lynch, David Byrne.
Okay.
Off the top of the dome, that's my answer.
I don't even know that many days.
Do you...
Mine are David Lynch, David Byrne, and David Wayne, director of Wet Hot American Summer and other good films. Also in contention, David Cronenberg.
I was going to say that. David Cronenberg.
Yeah, dude, shit. I didn't even think about...
David Lean.
Anybody ever called him David Attell?
No.
No, that can be. He can be one of your top three Daves.
Yeah, I'd say, I guess for me.
Tune in next week for my top three Daves.
I got like two. It'll probably be David Lynch and David Cronenberg.
I was trying to think. There's David Gilmour from Pink Floyd.
Oh yeah.
There's
Dave Grohl.
David
That's
Grohl.
Dave. That's top three Daves.
That's a
Whatever.
Dave, not a David.
Jesus, Josh.
I do. Some people do call David Lynch Dave. I feel like I've heard Laura Dern, Triplefour Hall of Famer, call him Dave.
Okay, well, she's got that.
She's got that fucked up for sure.
Well, no, she's got that. She has rapport. Well, not that we
She
don't.
has Triplefour Rapport.
Not that she's got Triplefour rapport. Yeah,
You
dude.
could go for Danny's brother.
I think it's-
Also,
David
tune in next week for the new segment Triplefour rapport.
The Triplefour Report. David
Spielberg.
Spade.
David Spade.
David.
Steve. Did I just say Spielberg?
David Spielberg.
David
Spielberg.
Spielberg.
Famous brother too. Steven Spielberg.
Danny DeVito's brother, David DeVito.
David DeVito.
David DeVito.
Classic. Unforgettable name.
David Quick Trip, founder of Quick Trip.
Yep.
Quick. Oh. Yeah.
Dave and Buster's. David
and Buster's.
David Buster.
David and Bust.
David Hockney, the painter.
David Duke.
I'm not such a fan of him.
Okay, well, you know.
He's in my bottom three Davids.
Yeah, who are your
We're at least three least favorite Davids.
on a spectrum? Can we make a David scale?
Yeah, from a scale of
David
Duke to
Duke.
Lynch. The David scale.
Dave scale.
The Dave scale is a much more ambiguous one, I think.
Stuff.
I'm trying to think of more Davids.
David, I know. I
It's
can't
tough.
think of any. There's not enough Davids.
I'm gonna type.
in the world.
Okay, here's a game. I'm gonna type in David on Google, and we'll see what
Who are the top?
you
who
got.
are
Guess.
Googles?
Guess. Yeah, guess who you're.
Who are by the world standard?
Who do you think is
Who
gonna
are
show
the
up?
top three Davids? I think it's gonna be.
Oh well, it's influenced by my search history. I think a little bit. I'm gonna go on Safari instead.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, you should do Google.
Okay,
You
well,
should do Google. I think that the top
we'll do both.
3 Davids from Google are
We're
going
the same on Safari too, for some reason.
One's gonna be David Spade.
Yeah, actually, I didn't.
One's
He's
gonna
not
be
in my
David's-
top 3, but
I mean, Google's.
It
top.
gave
look,
me
I like David Spade.
it
just
gave
as
me
much as the next guy,
3, and 2 of them are the same.
That's a good start.
I don't think.
but David Cross and David Spade.
But David Cross, yeah.
No,
Who's the third date? Oh,
actually, so on Safari, the top hit is David's bridal wedding dresses.
Well,
You know, David.
classic.
that's hilarious.
David Sbridal.
His very world famous David dresses.
Here, the top results are David Byrne.
Hell yeah.
David-
Well, he just was on SNL.
I know, and
so-
also I'm a
which I have
big
not-
Talking Heads fan, and so it would make sense for it to show up in my search suggestions. And then David Dobrik, who I think is a YouTuber, who I've literally, I think I looked him up once
That
just to
name
figure
is-
out who he was. And then the other one just says David Byrne SNL. So it says that on both Google.
Two David
and-
Burns.
What if I went on incognito and searched it? Maybe then
Crazy shit happens.
crazy shit.
Tune in next week where we reveal the top 3 results on Dan's Pornhub history.
Dave
Number
and
1,
Bust.
vanilla.
I'm sorry.
Ice cream.
Number 2, missionary. Number 3, regular.
Spicy.
Okay, I know I tried it on incognito and I have 3 different results. David Lynch, David Cronenberg, and David Whiteman. I don't know who that is.
White man.
Politician.
David Whiteman.
Of course
he's
he's
a
white.
painter apparently, and he's a young fella. These paintings are kind of interesting.
So is that for David?
Here's David Whiteman's paintings.
Hashtag
Kinda
fart
cool.
for David.
Oh.
Too bad his last name is Whiteman.
Man.
David Whiteman.
Don't trust that.
I'm not gonna be seeing. him
Actually,
at
it
any
turns out it's
festivals.
David Duke with the name change.
No rapport there.
So thanks for listening. Send us your top Davids, and
Go on Twitter. Hashtag. Whose dick is that?
whose dongle was that? Oh wait, whose dick was that?
Whose dick is it?
Whose dick was that?
Whose dick was
Whose
it?
dick was that?
Whose dick was it?
Whose
That-
dick was it?
Hashtag.
Hashtag
Whose dick was that?
was it?
Was it?
Whose dick was
Whose
it?
dick was
That's
it?
more. It rolls off the tongue. better.
Whose dick was it?
Whose dick was it? Already asked him. Tweet that at him, or you're not allowed to listen to this podcast anymore.
Tell him I
Goodbye.
said, please.
Just kidding. You should definitely listen to this podcast. Tell your friends about it. Tell strangers about it. Honestly, the number one thing people want to hear from strangers is
Number one
podcast
target.
suggestions.
Listen to this
Yeah.
podcast.
Do it.
Your number one
Why not?
targeted item for tonight is a person that you can suggest this podcast to.
Number one
Stranger. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.